Welcome to Econ 317. In this instruction video, we will go over a budget set for a consumer making consumption leisure choices. We will start with first the two goods which consumer values or gains utility from having those goods. So the two goods. First one, consumption. I will denote it by C and it will be measured in dollars per day. This is consumption of all the goods and services which consumer values. The second good will be leisure. I will denote it by uppercase L and this will be measured in hours per day. Remember, the leisure hours in a day are limited to a maximum of 24 hours because that's the number of hours available in a day. Also, the hours consumer does not use as leisure are the hours we'll assume the consumer is working. And the wage income out of work will be utilized for consumption. So, consumer likes consumption, likes leisure, does not like working, but has to work in order to be able to consume positive dollar amount. So I need one more information, which is the wage rate. And we will use W for the wage. And let's take the wage rate to be $16 per hour. Because that's the wage rate in whole numbers above the minimum wage in the state of New Jersey in the year 2026. So with that, now we will use the vertical axis to denote C, consumption, the horizontal axis to denote leisure, which are in hours per day. The consumption is in dollars per day. And we know that the maximum number of leisure hours one could have is equal to 24. Okay, so now we want to go to the extremes. One I have already described. When the consumer uses 24 hours of leisure, the income would be zero. Wage income is $0 when leisure is the maximum 24 hours. And that's a point which is attainable for the consumer. Obviously, it's not a desirable one because consumer has no wage income. I will go to the other extreme where consumer works all 24 hours. And again, that is not a desirable state of affairs. But for the sake of our analysis, we need that point. So wage income will be 16 times 24, which turns out to be $384 per day when the consumer works all 24 hours, which means the leisure hours will be 0. So remember, these 2 points are attainable. So $384 per day. And then from here, all I'm going to do is draw a straight line such that it hits the horizontal axis at 24 hours. And this will be the budget set for the consumption leisure choice. Remember, consumer is not going to pick any one of the extreme points somewhere in the middle, which has some hours of leisure, positive for sure, less than 24 hours again for sure, and then some dollar income. Now, suppose there is a change in the wage income, wage rate. We just want to see how the budget set will change when there is a change in wage. So let's assume the wage rate has gone up. Instead of $16 per hour, becomes $20 per hour. Now we want to see how the budget set will change. Remember, the wage income of $0 and the leisure of 24 hours remains attainable even in this case, because a consumer can decide to not work at all, so has all 24 hours as leisure and is able to earn $0. On the other extreme, wage income of $20 per hour times 24, that's $480 per day, and leisure hour is 0, is also attainable. And so now we have the two extremes. This will give us idea of how to draw the budget set. So let me again have consumption on the vertical axis, which is described in units of dollar per day, and then leisure hours on the horizontal axis, hours per day. And now I know the maximum dollar income the consumer can earn is 480. The maximum leisure hours is 24, and this is the new budget set. So if I go back and draw the previous one, the budget set when the wage rate was $16, maybe I can show it here. I will draw it as a dashed line. And this number, if you recall, was $384. So this is $480, this is $380, 384. So you can notice that the budget set, as the dollar wage rate increases or decreases, is moving outward with the horizontal intercept remaining fixed. So in a way, the budget set has moved out because the wage rate has gone up, has tilted in the clockwise direction with the 24 hours fixed as a pivot, and then we go for higher and higher wage rates. I could also now draw a budget set where instead of assigning numerical value to the wage rate, I will write down the notation W. So let's say the wage rate is W dollars per hour. And let's draw a budget set because this will be a general case. Again, I want to write down the two extremes, $0 per day and leisure 24 hours attainable. Income W times 24 is 24 W dollars per day, and leisure 0 hours is also attainable. And this gives us enough information to be able to draw the budget set in this case. So let's start with consumption on the vertical axis, leisure on the horizontal axis, hours per day is the unit of leisure, consumption dollars per day is the unit for consumption, and the maximum amount of consumption the agent can have is 24 times W. So this is one extreme point which is attainable on the vertical axis, and then we will always have the maximum amount of leisure hour being available is 24. Lastly, I will also like to write down an algebraic formula for the budget set. So let's see what is the consumption in dollar value. This will be equal to the wage rate, the amount of wage a person earns per hour, times the number of hours worked. And here I have assumed consumer makes only two use of the hours available in a day. Either he or she is working or having leisure hours. So hours worked will be 24 minus the number of leisure hours. And this will be the formula for the budget set. So let's rewrite this. I will distribute the term W to both the terms in the parentheses. So the first term turns out to be 24 times W, and the second term turns out to be W times L. And so that's an equation for the budget set. Maybe we could rewrite it by taking the negative WL from the right hand side to the left hand side, where it will appear as with a positive sign. So this will be the formula, the equation for the budget set in the general case where wage is written as W dollars per hour. And this is a good point to stop.